Hey guys, what's going on? So I'm going to be sharing a new portfolio that I have here that I've been building up for quite some time. I haven't really shared it because it's a really boring portfolio and I've been just running really basic strategies. But this portfolio is heavily using margin. Now, typically I wouldn't really share too many margin videos because they can get really confusing and a lot of people on YouTube who are not really experienced are going to misunderstand this video. But I'm going to try to give you all my secrets, everything that I know about margin trading, and tell you how I'm using margin in my other portfolio. And honestly, if you want a trading session with me on how to use margin properly, because it is an individual case-by-case basis, I'm going to leave my email down below so you can personally email me if you have a 5-figure account, and I'm going to show you how to use margin effectively and safely to scale your portfolio and use leverage. Now, this is a portfolio that I have with TD Ameritrade. Now, this is a portfolio that I have with TD Ameritrade, and I also have a Robinhood portfolio. Now, in the description, you're going to see a link for Robinhood. I think they're one of the best because they are fairly easy to get level 3 approval, and they also have no fees, whereas TD Ameritrade has a lot of fees, and that's why I decided on this account to go more big. I'm using big account strategy. So I'm not selling any small cap stocks. I'm actually going for things that are really huge. So as you can see, I have SPY, and actually I have a whole lot of SPY. And then I also have Triple Q. I actually have Chipotle and Amazon. Now this portfolio right here is not that huge, and I'm actually going to calculate how much margin I'm using. I'm using a ridiculous amount of margin. However, this portfolio is actually doing really well. So let's jump into the math of my portfolio right now, and then after I do the math, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go over the strategies, the management of the strategies, my thought, my logic around it, and all of that good stuff, okay? So let's just start off. So I'm going to actually calculate the math right in front of your eyes, okay? The first one is Amazon. I have a $100 put. I have 7 contracts, okay? So each put option is $10,000, and if I have 7 of these, that's $70,000. Now the next thing I'm doing is Chipotle. I have 2 contracts of $17.50. If you do the math there, each of these is $17,500, so 2 of these would be $35,000. So now when I add 35,000 to 70, we're already at $100,500. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna calculate this math right here, and you're gonna notice that my portfolio is not anywhere near the amount of puts that I'm selling, okay? I'm deciding to sell lots of puts on margin, and the real secret there is because when I sell puts on margin, it doesn't really affect me. I'm not really paying any interest. In fact, if you notice my account, I'm actually getting paid interest, although I'm using a load of margin, like an immense amount of margin. I actually don't even know how much, but I have done my risk management and I've actually calculated how much I'm using, and I determined that it was pretty safe, and I didn't mind taking that amount of risk, okay? So far we're at $100,500. Next thing that I did was Triple Q. So this is actually $27,000 per position. I have 8 of these, so that's another $216,000. So when I add 216,000 plus 100,500, that is going to give us $316,000. As you can see, it's adding up really quickly. And again, this portfolio is about $500,000. So it's not a big portfolio. I'm not even halfway through. And as you can see, this portfolio is already at $316,000, okay? Now, if I go to my next position, which is SPY, I have 400 shares, and these 400 shares are currently at $411. So that is another $164,000. So we're at roughly $500,000. I'm gonna put it up on the screen right now. Next position that I have is going to be the SPY 391 put, and this one I'm going very aggressive and very hard with 30 contracts, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 30 contracts times 391, which is my strike price, times 100, which is actually $1.173 million. And again, this portfolio is less than $500,000, okay? So this position right here is 1.173 plus $524,000 or whatever is on the screen right now. This is already pushing $1.7 million. Now, if I actually end up doing SPY, the 405, which is my next position, and it has 5 contracts here, that's roughly another 40,000, and then I have 5 of these, so that's going to be another 200,000. So let's add 200,000 to this position. And then actually this is a covered call, so it doesn't count. We can skip that because this is a covered call on the 400 shares that I have. And then last but not least, I have an SPY 390 put, which is $39,000, and I have 10 of these. So if I add another $390,000, my portfolio here is around $2 million in potential. And this is a really big point, okay? Because this is the huge misunderstanding. Yes, I am leveraged up to, well, you know what, right? Like people have all these quotes, right? I'm leveraged up to the blank blank, right? I want to be family friendly here. But, you know, if you understand this, that my portfolio is not that big and I have a huge risk here of $2 million, is this risky? Well, it is pretty risky. I mean, in my opinion, it's sort of risky. The reason why it's sort of risky is because some of these positions right here, so let's actually go to my largest position, okay? Let's go to my $1 million position. Let's actually open this up, and I don't use TD Ameritrade a whole lot. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm actually gonna open this up on my Robinhood, so SPY June 16, 2023, okay? So we're gonna go to SPY. I'm gonna actually show you the delta right here because when I do end up selling puts on margin, I'm not stupid about it. I'm being very, very safe with it, okay? So if I go to sell put and then I go to June 16, which is, if you're watching this in the future, you can always apply this in the future. I've been using margin for literally probably the past 6 or 7 years. I mean, I've been trading for almost a decade, but I don't think I always knew to use margin. So actually when I started using Robinhood, I started using a lot of margin because yeah, they're very easy to grant you margin. I think Robinhood Gold has it. So again, check out my link in the description. I have a link to Robinhood. You can actually get pretty easy approval. I mean, they are a third party, so I can't help you, but they have been giving really easy approval to anyone that uses my link, and they also get like a few free stocks or something like that. So anyways, go check that out. But I'm gonna go to June 16, which is about 33 days out. Again, if you're watching this in the future, doesn't really matter, okay? You can apply these same principles and same logic to your own portfolio, okay? So June 16, let me go down to the current price. Okay, actually, no, we're going down to 391, right? Because I have the 391. Yes, I have the 391 put for June 16. So let's open this bad boy up and boom, yeah, you'll notice that the delta is 0.18. So let me explain something to you, right? So no one ever really goes down into the Greeks, and whenever anyone talks about the Greeks, people just lose attention, click off the video, and yeah, it just doesn't work out because it's kind of technical. But let me explain it to you as simple as possible, okay? So delta is 0.18. Now check it out, I have 30 contracts, right? I have 30 contracts of this. So 30 contracts doesn't actually mean that I have 30 contracts worth of exposure. Because the delta is roughly 0.2, you can actually pretend that I only have 6 contracts worth of exposure. Now, where am I getting 6? And you're probably thinking like, how did you get 6? Well, check it out, 0.2, okay, that's the delta, times 30 is 6. 20% of 30 is 6. So essentially, because my exposure here is only a delta of 0.2, that means that my exposure is only like really 20%. So 20% of 30 is 6, and that's not that much. So I basically have 6 contracts instead of 30. Now again, 30 contracts is like an exposure of over $1 million, but 6 contracts is only an exposure of a little bit over $200,000, right? If I do 400 times 6, that's like $240,000. So it's actually a little bit less than that since this is a 391 put. Now, yes, there is some gamma risk. I mean, if this stock ends up going down, it's not a stock, it's an ETF, it's SPY. But if SPY ends up going down, yes, my delta will increase and that's going to increase my exposure, but honestly, not that much. And the worst that can happen is, well, there is some really bad stuff that can happen. Of course, the market can like tank, but the worst that can happen most likely and like 99% of the time, that the market could pull back a little bit, okay? It can pull back to, let's say it's 410 right now, it can pull back to 405. I'd end up winning. It could pull down to 400. I would end up winning. It can pull down to like $395, and that would be a significant fall for SPY. It would be pretty unlikely. I mean, it could happen, but it's pretty unlikely. Now, if SPY fell to 391, what would I do? We always talk about management and closing strategies, which is really, really important, how you manage a trade. But if it went down to 391, look, this is super unlikely. I mean, it could happen. It's an 18 delta. But if it does happen, what I can do is I can just roll lower. So I can actually show you a rolling position right now because I think using margin and rolling really goes together. I mean, having a lot of advanced skills in option trading will help you manage trades so much better and just make you a whole lot more money. So, I mean, check it out. Right now, everything is going really smooth. My life is pretty good. My Discord community is freaking happy. Everyone is super happy. I mean, we're all having a good time. And so far this year, what am I up? I think I'm up like, 13%, which is pretty solid, right? I mean, guys, I don't promise you to become a millionaire overnight here. I mean, that's some other fake guru with maybe like a Lamborghini. Not that there's anything wrong with having a Lamborghini, but that's another guy that's just flexing and telling you that he'll help you become a millionaire or follow my trades or blah, 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 right? But I'm not promising any of that. I'm just promising consistency. I'm promising to teach you how to be a better trader. Hopefully take this full time. I mean, I currently moved out to Poland because I do this full time. My income's online, so I don't have to be in the States. You can have a very nice lifestyle in other countries by focusing on trading. So that's exactly what I've been doing. And yeah, this year so far, I'm up 13%. Now, if my portfolio was smaller, I would obviously be a little bit more risky. I would probably do more spreads. So as you can see here, I'm winning on an Apple spread, I'm winning on an Airbnb spread. I would probably do more spreads. I would also do more iron condors. As you can see, my iron condors are doing fantastic. Every time I open up an iron condor, I am posting it in the Discord community, which as always, you can book a call for that. You can book a free call in the description. It's the first link. It's always the first link. You can go through some training and then book a call to see everything that I'm buying and selling. But yeah, if I had a smaller portfolio, that's exactly what I would be doing. I'd be focused on spreads. I'd be focused on iron condors. I mean, those strategies are obviously higher return, but inherently when you have something that's high return, it's also going to have a little bit more risk. So I think you're out of your mind if you're going to use margin for like the riskier stuff. For me, the only thing that I use margin is by selling put options and maybe covered calls. So again, looking at my portfolio, I'm mostly selling puts. Okay, that's basically probably like 90% of my strategy for margin trading. And sometimes I do covered calls, but thing is, with covered calls, you will be charged interest because you're holding the shares. This stuff can get really nuanced. So if you want a specific strategy, again, you can just shoot me an email and we can figure something out. I don't usually do one-on-one coaching. I am super busy and more money to me doesn't really matter, but I do really want to help you guys. And I really understand that helping you guys make more money is really awesome for your family, for your future. And I am really passionate about this. So yeah, I am really willing to help as much as I can and give back as much as possible because I really love this. I mean, trading options has really changed my life. I mean, I've been traveling for like the past 3 years and it's all because of options and I don't really have any financial issues. And that's because even something as simple as this, right? I don't have that much money, but using margin, I mean, this is actually interesting. I should have, I didn't even look at this, but just check it out. I mean, how much gains I have. And I'm recording this on a Sunday evening. It's actually morning in Europe, but this is a Sunday evening. So there's like no way that I'm photoshopping this or anything like that. This is just literally all gains. I don't have any losses. And that's the beautiful thing about, trading with me. That's the beautiful thing about understanding the way I trade my strategies is, yeah, some people go for like big wins. They go for like heavy hitters. Like they're trying to make $20,000, $30,000 a month with a small portfolio. Is that possible? It is, but you are taking excessive risk. And whenever you're rushing for something and you're like desperate or needy, it's actually like really bad behavior and it's not going to end up being like a long-term successful strategy. And that just applies to lots of things in life, right? Relationships, health. There's no real like get fast or get results pill. It's just about learning, getting better, honing your craft. And I mean, at this point, option trading is really easy and it's really boring. That's why I really enjoy coaching because option trading doesn't take me much time. It's like a couple hours a week. But as you can see here, I mean, it's just super consistent. $1,000. I mean, 268 is not that much on Chipotle, but Chipotle has shot up a lot and I ended up selling a really safe out of the money put option. I'm not just using margin and leverage in my other portfolio where it's like really safe and like really large account strategies. This portfolio on Robinhood, I'm also using margin. I mean, I have a whole bunch of positions, way too many to count, which I'm always posting, of course, but yeah, it's a lot of positions. I accidentally clicked into Alibaba, but this has actually been a really good stock for me. I ended up making, I'm still making money on the stock itself. And then I also have a covered call. The really cool thing is, I mean, I show everything, guys. I don't have anything to hide. I'm just gonna go into my history. People always show you their wins, but they never show their losses. I actually think on Baba, I only have wins. Obviously I have losses on other stuff, but I only have wins on Baba. It's just been an amazing company. Baba, Neo, I mean, Palantir, you guys know, I've been talking about Palantir forever. So if you watch this channel, I mean, you're making money. I'm sure I've already made you several $1,000s if you've been following my channel religiously and you have the bell notification on and you're subscribed. It's always amazing to be a subscriber because whenever I release videos, sometimes they're very insightful. They're like actionable. So anyways, Alibaba, 33.50. I ended up holding this for a good amount of time. So I can't like really brag that this is a lot of money because it's not. I only made $400, but I'm really proud of this position because I'm not really an option buyer. But here I did end up buying some options, right? I bought 10 contracts of the Alibaba 83 call option and it ended up doing really well. But in between, there was a lot of turmoil. I mean, actually, let me show you the turmoil because in between, it was very volatile. I mean, Baba stock was going up and down. And at some point, I actually thought I had to close it for a loss, but things ended up going really well. But I'll show you kind of like the process in between because many people with like weak hands or like not that much experience would end up, basically dropping this call option, losing a bunch of money and complaining that, option trading doesn't work. But it's because you have to get a little bit better. Don't wish life was easier. Wish you were better. Whoever said that quote, right? I really like that quote because I grew up with nothing. My parents came to the States. My mom came pregnant actually. So my mom came pregnant, had me, and then for the first 20 years of my life, we had literally nothing, and my parents never spent any money, and everything was super difficult. So it wasn't easy, but I'm really proud that I'm self-made and all of this trading and being a successful coach as well. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I do well as a coach, and that's because I'm a great coach. I love coaching people. I'm passionate about it, and all my students get success. At least 90% of people get success, the ones that take it seriously anyways. But we were talking about Alibaba. So I kind of want to show you a little bit of like emotional control management. This is stuff that people don't really talk about. I know everyone wants to see like, how do you buy a call option and 10x your money? And that's cool, guys. But what I'm trying to teach you is how to be a better trader, how to have a better psychology, how to have a better mindset, okay? How to be like just an ultimate mindful, good investor, okay? That's really important. As an investor, it's not about mathematics or physics. Those guys on Wall Street actually don't do that well. I sat next to plenty of traders, and let me tell you, like the best traders really just had a good mindset. They came in hungry, they came in willing to learn. And the craziest thing is, and Jeff Bezos talks about this, is some of the smartest people are actually able to change their mind really fast. So let's say you're in a bad situation and you're in love with the company, well, you might have to change that position, get out of it. But anyways, let's check this out, okay? Baba, April 25th, all right? So let's look at April 25th. And again, if you're watching this in the future, all of my teachings, I try to make them evergreen and available for you. So even if you watch in the future, you get a lot of value. I try not to make too many things like in this very moment, because to be honest, all these YouTubers that are making like in the moment stock videos, they're just pumping for more views. And I don't really care about that. I just want to make sure that I'm educating you to my highest ability. But let's look at April, what was it? April 25th, I believe. Yes, so it was April 25th. So I ended up buying calls on April 25th. And yes, that's because Alibaba keeps going up and down, and I was pretty sure that it's going to go up, down, and then on the 25th, yes, it was a pretty good bottom, right? At least I thought it was. On the 3-month chart, it was, essentially it was hitting a bottom. So I ended up buying some call options here. Now, what happened next was not that great, because on April 25th, I ended up buying call options, and it pretty much did nothing. It went up a little bit, then down, and I ended up losing money. Well, I didn't lose money. I was losing money on paper, but I had a big belief that this stock would bounce back and it would do well. So I told my Discord community, everyone was asking me, are we gonna close this position? We have a big paper loss. The big paper loss was about $1,500. So that's pretty significant, especially for folks with smaller portfolios. So I felt really bad about this trade that I ended up buying call options. And I felt really bad because, whenever I trade, I make a trade, my reputation's on the line. I wanna make sure that I am doing the best job possible, because it's not just my money. Everyone basically follows my trades. So whenever I have a trade, then everyone either makes money or loses money. And my goal is to be really, really safe and conservative, because I have a lot of investors that are close to retirement. They have 500K accounts or more. And I don't know about you, and I'm pretty sure this applies to everyone, but we don't want to lose our hard-earned money. Making money is extremely difficult. I grew up with nothing, and when I made like $2,000, I was super happy, super blessed, and going to Chipotle to me was like, oh my God, I get to actually go and eat out at a restaurant. And I was like 21, 22 at that point. So I'm really appreciative of what I built, and I understand that you guys are probably in a similar boat. You don't want to lose your money. You basically need a plan to grow it consistently and secure your retirement. Even if you're not retiring yet, you still need to get there at some point, and I'm really happy that I'm part of your journey. But check it out. So Alibaba went from, the 25th, from 82.29 to essentially, nowhere, 82.95, right? I almost closed it here, guys. I literally almost closed it, but, it was 5.10. I said, we're going to hold this until expiration. I really have a feeling, based on what I've seen Baba do in the past, I think that we can pull up. And then we woke up next day on the 11th. It was a Thursday. This is actually last Thursday. I said, guys, we're out of here. We are out of here on May 11th. We are done. We are taking our $400 of profit. This has been a tough, a tough 2 weeks. I didn't lose that much money, but this position was down probably about 50%. And then in just one day, we ended up having a gain. So I ended up getting out of this position for a $400 gain. So yeah, in terms of going into more detail on using margin, I'd love to do that. If you want to send me an email, I'm happy to help you with your personal situation. Now, of course, I don't have all the time in the world, but for a few of you guys that send me an email, I'm potentially happy to set something up and just help you navigate, set some positions, and understand this margin trading in greater detail. But yeah, if this video gets a lot of likes and comments, I'm more than happy to do another margin video for you guys in the future. So now I have a question for you, okay? I taught you a little bit about margin. Would you rather have unlimited margin potential and use margin as much as you want, or have 20% more in your portfolio today, but you cannot use margin? Tell me what you think. Which one would you rather have?